I can't believe we're on episode 5 already. So as you can see, it's been a long day. He's having a well-earned rest, and it's the start of another day in paradise. So we're progressing quite nicely at the moment. It'd be nice to get some more cash in the bank and an increased reputation. So let's head over to the laptop and see what deals we've got today. So we know we needed paper to do our deal. There's not an awful lot of paper on any of those. That's nearly all metal, which we can't process. And we can process wood. So regardless of that, let's take all of them. What I would normally do is if there was a lot of different deals and I could only get around to maybe 3 or 4 of them, is I would then prioritize, as there are 4 there, and that's wood as well. What we'll do is let's take all of them. $70. Will you take 40? Help a guy out. 62. 50. Go on. 56. 51. 55. Well, we're going to have to do, aren't we? Well, just so we can say we had a win, we'll give you 54. Okay, so they drove quite a hard bargain, but we still knocked some money off. Deal, Jada. And the other thing to consider actually is the size potentially of the property as well, and how long it might take to gather your scrap. So if you don't fit them all into one day, that's not the end of the world. But, and I've not got to this point, if you don't do it within the specified time, so you have a number of days to go, I'm not sure whether you kind of forfeit the right to go there and collect it. That would be interesting, but I don't really want to find that out. We shall take, well, we said we were going to take all of them as well. So let's take this one. We're still looking okay for cash. We're trying to push the price up. Oh, you can't input what? I thought they'd not agreed it. I was wondering why I couldn't change it. It's because they'd already agreed the deal. And last but not least, good old Sophie Green wants 130. I don't have that kind of money, Sophie. So I'm afraid 80 it is. It's going to be interesting because I can't go above 84. So I've not got to this point. That's good. I've only got 84. So I can't afford to offer 97. So we're going to have to... I don't know what happens there, actually. It looks like we can't bargain or do a deal. Well, that's new to me. Anyway, we've still got 3 jobs to do. That negotiating has taken a chunk out of our working day. So without further ado, let's close the van up and get on. We're going to prioritise the one that's only got 1 day left. Although I do think we can comfortably fit 3 jobs into one day. It would be good if there was a till here, because we've got the lockpick and we need to start making some cash. So this is, what is this, a kind of a cafe style situation? Do you have a till? Yes, but it's open. Right, so let's motor through this. So what I'm going to do, for the sake of speed, is throw this nearer to the door and pick up the smaller items to fill up my bin bag or garbage bag or trash bag, depending on where in the world you are. Okay. So what I'll do is, see how that kind of got stuck in the environment. You've got to be a little bit careful of that when you are throwing some of the stuff, is that it is possible to throw it somewhere where you can't then retrieve it, which I found out the hard way. So hopefully with the audio, I've been messing about a little bit with the settings on the DJI mics. Don't worry, it's not a sponsored video. And hopefully that kind of cuts out a little bit of the background noise. So I am playing this at home, and that involves pets and a family, so there will be some background noise, but I didn't want to kind of make it to the point where it was interfering with the audio of the video. Okay. So what I think I will do for the purposes of this shiny new channel, or I should say that I set it up a while ago, put a few videos on and then kind of moved on to something a little bit different. So to pick this up again, I reckon, because once you've seen probably 10 episodes of this game, you're going to be familiar with it. And so I will probably find another game to do a little series. Of course, if it turns out that everybody loves this content, I'll make more. And hopefully improve as I go along the way. So in terms of the content, I'm capturing it on the PS5 and uploading it straight to good old YouTube, which means that I don't have to invest tons of time into editing and I can turn them around quickly. The audio is via the microphones, because the microphone in the PS5 controller, as you can imagine, is not the best. And so capturing the audio as I go through means that I don't also have to then do voiceovers, because you do lose some of the spontaneity. And with other content that I've done, you can find that you get kind of 20 minutes through a video and then forget what you're saying or mispronounce something, and it can turn into quite a lengthy affair trying to get the perfect audio. Okay. And I'd also tried capturing some VR footage. So I have the Quest 3, and I play that quite a lot actually, but it's quite tricky to then capture everything. So as you can imagine, the file sizes are pretty big, and so unless you're live streaming with a nice expensive setup with PCs and all that kind of stuff, then it can be quite tricky getting it from A to B to C to D and all that kind of stuff. Very technical, I know, very technical speak. So yeah, this allows me to capture quite a lot of different types of games quite easily. So I'll be happy to take any recommends on the next series. And got quite a broad catalogue. So we'll just listen for the sweet spot. So we have found as well our PlayStations are not massively old, but I have found just the beginnings of stick drift on 2 of the controllers. So it's not really affecting the gameplay too much at the moment, but you might see that when I'm idle it just drifts just a little bit. Yes, so in terms of PlayStation, quite a nice back catalogue there that includes all the, even back to I think PS2 games. And that's only really limited by the amount of storage that you have. So luckily we also got an expansion SSID card, which if you're interested, if you're thinking of getting one and you're worried that it's really technical to open up your PS5 and install it, fear not, it is incredibly straightforward. So unusually the PlayStation area quite accessible. So essentially there's a screw and a compartment and you can pop the card straight in there. I think there's some like thermal paste to stop it setting on fire. But with some of the things, you'll read that it's fairly easy to do and then look on YouTube and it'll be a like 45-minute video where people have got very specialist materials and where there's a very high risk of actually completely breaking the machine. See there? I hope that's not just ordered me something off Shein. That's the thing with technology, it's always listening. So yeah, the PlayStation catalogue, I've said that again. It's got quite a range of games. So any comments in there, any recommends, then I will give them a go and see whether they are series worthy. So if you do have those recommends in the comments, or what I'd really appreciate as well is if you think that I'm on the right track with these videos, if you're enjoying them, a thumbs up would be very, very welcome. It was actually quite a nice feeling on the other channel that I had, where I had a couple of videos where I then started getting notifications that people had subscribed, and it's not to a point where I'm going to retire to Beverly Hills anytime soon, but it's just quite rewarding. The small wins, isn't it? But they're still wins. It's just nice to know that people were watching the content, and it started to pick up a bit of momentum actually. So I'm not sure whether I've mentioned it in other videos, but it's a bit of a departure from gaming. So it was actually barbecue videos on a Ninja Woodfire grill. I won't talk too much about it because I talk plenty on that other channel. But I'd done that and reviewed some other Ninja products because I really like them. And once you get even past 1,000 views, I was quite pleased with that, if I'm honest. So it'd be great to see this pick up a bit of momentum. And what we tend to do is our approach is that if we see some content that we like the look of, then do tend to hit the subscribe button, not just because I make content and so we know that it really helps. It just makes the videos easier to find, so that then if someone's posting one video a week, then rather than remembering what it was or going through your history, then the subscriptions is a really useful tool to kind of zero in even on what it is you're looking for. Hopefully I've sold that to you. That's my sales pitch done. Don't worry, I won't talk about it throughout the whole video. That was a shot though, wasn't it? I was going to try and do different types of content as well. So I do watch different formats. So I suppose it's horses for courses in that if you're getting a puzzle game, you're not really going to want to watch somebody play through it in real time and spoil it all for you, because they tend to be a kind of one-time thing in that the games themselves, once you've solved all the puzzles, it's not really any replayability. George has awoken in the background, so it'd be interesting when I hear the audio back to hear that. That means that he is trying to get my attention. Obviously he doesn't know that I'm talking to an unseen audience. He probably thinks I'm talking to him. So the technique that we're employing here is just to launch our recyclables as near to the van as we can. Better turn the torch on. And we'll put it in the van later, because this particular site is over 3 floors. So if you'd like to see other simulators, they tend to lend themselves quite well to the series kind of format. So off the top of my head, those that I can think of, there is Architect Life, Chef Life. So they're studios tend to do a few in a particular vein. So I actually quite enjoyed Architect Life. What else we got? I think there's a restaurant simulator. There is a money laundering simulator. Mowing simulator, power wash simulator, bus simulator. And I believe the latest addition to that is Hypermarket Simulator, which my partner's playing through as we speak. All right, we're missing something on the site. And then the other kind of, I suppose, genre that's become quite popular is the cozy simulator. So these are the games where they're quite laid back. So they are kind of grindy games. So they tend to be the kind of top-down pixelated graphics where you do things like, run a farm and all that kind of stuff, which honestly, when they're described to me or I see them on the store, I'm thinking that's not really my thing. I like the games with the nice graphics and all that kind of stuff. And I've found that I've actually quite enjoyed them, if I'm being honest. I do also need to pick up the Silent Hill 2 remake again, because I was waiting for that for quite a while, and I was waiting for it to come down in price, and I've been pleasantly surprised by that. So Silent Hill, the original one, or Silent Hill 2, was one of my favourite games, and there's been quite a trend of that recently. There's been a lot of remakes where they've kind of updated the graphics and the gameplay. So I've been enjoying that as well. Right, I'm going to check the top floor, and whilst I'd be reluctant to leave without 100%, I do want to keep these videos quite rounded. So off we drop the building, remembering to bend our legs and roll. So we're not going to collect 100% there. I wouldn't normally leave the site without it, but... Oh, trash back. Oh, okay. There you go. So the reason we didn't have it all is that we were carrying a bag. So that should give us 100%. And interestingly, if you try and get in the truck while you're carrying a bag, it will prompt you, as we've just seen. Okay, so we're back. Kieran, I'm sure, is raring to go, even though it's past 9 p.m. And I know we didn't collect an awful lot of paper, and so we're not probably still going to be able to fulfill that contract. So what we're going to do, a bit of a change of tact, which means that we won't be getting through one reputation level per day, which we wouldn't actually anyways. We went through the playthrough, but if we can let Kieran do his thing there, then we'll collect some more scrap tomorrow, and we will then process all of that in one go, so that we've got a pretty healthy looking storage area full of products, and then we'll be able to go through those different contracts and start putting some money in the bank. Not too worried about expanding the machines too much just at the moment. So we'll do that. Kieran is still hard at work there. So we're not going to be able to take any more jobs at the moment until we do make some money. So we're just going to have another little look on the computer here and see if there's any contracts that we can fill. So we know we still need 42. We were only a little bit shy of that, I think. And we have... Just bear with me while I get closer to my television. Oh, we need 10 plastic. Of course, it was paper that... Okay. So we can do that one. We have 44 in stock. They want 42. Let's go ahead and do a bargain. You would like to pay 324. How do you feel about 434? 368. If I could get 400, I'd be quite happy here. So let's go for 14. We're probably just a touch high still. 404. 375. Come on, you can do better than this. 294. Okay, so not quite our 400. but that does give us enough cash to take our next day scrap deals. So send that out for delivery. 394, cheap at half the price. Okay, let's see if Kieran is ready to do some sorting. He's there, ready and waiting. Hello, Kieran. If you could sort the waste, that would be amazing. So just in case you haven't, God, he did that literally instantly. Okay, so had we done that ourselves, which I think I showed in the earlier videos anyway. So if you haven't had a chance to watch them, then you can go and have a look at episode 1 just to see the sorting mechanic. So essentially, once you've switched the machine on, one of these relevant bins will highlight a colour and you drag and drop your recycling into it. So it doesn't give you any real massive benefits in terms of reputation level. So it's a good job to assign to the workers, and that is a good example of actually that the automation and the unlockables not really negatively impacting on the gameplay. Right, we're not going to be able to take our scrap deals until the next working day, so let's finish that episode there, and I will join you in the next one. And that means that we are over halfway through the series, and I hope you're enjoying it and will stick with me.